Hi everyone, it's Gifford here. Welcome to the live. And today I'm talking about how to build a schedule that allows time for your brilliance, because it's January and at the moment everyone is talking about your planners, your workflows, your goals, your Q1 stuff and blah 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 blah. And I just want to give you permission to look at all that stuff in a way that really suits you, in a way that really serves you, in the way that you work best. And I often find that when I see other people sharing their schedules or other people talking about how they work, it can often make us feel a little bit overwhelmed, because you'll see their schedule and you might think, oh my goodness, I'm not getting up at 5 and doing XYZ, or I'm not working in those increments of time, or I haven't built in all those particular elements. And what I want you to remember is that we all have different needs, we all have different lives, we all have different responsibilities and different aims with how we want to feel and how we want to work, because you need to build something that is really bespoke for you. And I'm talking about this now because this is an exercise that I've just gone through again, from my business coach, who was urging me to relook at my schedule and to look at a way to work in a way that really strengthens me. And it is such an enlightening and empowering exercise to go through that I would really encourage you to look at your weekly schedule yourself. And the way that I've done it currently is I actually sketched it out in my bullet journal, how I wanted my week to look, and actually took a pen and paper to it and designed my schedule proper old school with some ink and pen, and was looking at all the elements that I wanted to fit into my week and that I need to fit into my week. So it's things like, from family time to self-care to exercise to sales activities to batching work together, so content creation and things like that, social media, admin, obviously time with clients if you serve clients in that way, strategy and working on projects. So I've built out a schedule in Google Calendar, which now has all these things labeled and kind of set up so that I can see from the colours how my week is looking. And it's not necessarily going to stay that way. It's not necessarily going to be the schedule that is built in stone, because I also struggle with putting something on paper and that is it. There's no flexibility. And for me, there needs to be an element of flexibility. So, and maybe that will resonate with you as well. And I also build into my day at the start of the day, which by the way isn't 5 o'clock or anything like that. It's after I've dropped the kids off at school, there's a big chunk of time that is all about self-care and meditation, because although the instinct, and my instinct certainly, is to run straight for the coffee the sort of shop or the coffee machine and get started on my first tasks, is to actually really think about what I'm doing for that day and to build in some mindfulness and some meditation. And I've actually been working with the Headspace app recently, which I find to be extremely useful, just to get myself in the zone for the day and to kind of switch between the energy of being mum and dropping off the kids at school and what that involves, and before kind of putting on my entrepreneurial hat and on my entrepreneurial sort of various coloured hair, and to switch into that role. So for me, there's a whole 45 minutes of changeover, which actually instinctively at first feels a little, well, that's a big chunk of time. I could be much more efficient with that. I could be adding more calls into my day or adding more social media time into my day. But I find that if I'm really focused on knowing when I'm in and out on social media, when I'm in and out on my email, and email, by the way, is once a day, it's not constantly, it's literally half an hour once a day, and I'm in there. You stop getting distracted by everything else, and actually time is much more productive. And this is something that I talk about quite a lot. But it's a really good reminder, and it's been good to have a push also from my coach to relook at how a schedule can actually strengthen you and not be something which drains you. Because if you're someone like me, I've actually often been scared of my own calendar, and this is something which which is like a self-created thing, where I've put in, the slots for the calls with clients, and I've put in, the parts of work which needs to be done. And when you don't build in enough space to either switch between tasks, or enough space to sit and have lunch, which is a real basic thing. And often, whether you're working for somebody else or you're working for yourself, sometimes entrepreneurs often switch out the cubicle lifestyle for, kind of building their own little cubicle by being tied to the laptop. And that's not what we signed up for. We're here to, yes, create a business and to create a lifestyle that really works for us, but also to have that sense of freedom. And that sense of freedom can really come from, really working with your schedule and designing it your way. I'm a massive fan of design thinking and creative thinking. It's, it's part of my DNA, and it's the way that I approach business, but it's also the way that I can approach all these little elements. Because hi Sarah, nice to see you. Because hi Victoria, hi. Because if you can build these things into your schedule, if you can create a calendar that feels amazing, that you really want to start your week in a way that just feels brilliant, your creativity, your ideas, your genius is going to shine through so much more. Whereas if you're feeling frazzled, if you're feeling attached to the laptop, and I know Victoria will understand this, if you're still wearing your kind of active gear but you haven't actually been out and you haven't had time to go out, we laughed about that, didn't we? Then it's a really, you can build something that helps you to feel good all day. And yes, if you're someone who likes to get up at 5 or 6 and do the miracle morning or do whatever morning routine it is that suits you, that is amazing. If you're someone like me who needs a little bit of extra sleep, who, will... And you can then sort of build in that self-care time. Yoga pants for the win, Victoria. I was totally thinking about you last week when I was stuck in mine at sort of, 4 o'clock and I hadn't actually done anything about it. I did do my yoga though for the day, but I looked horrific for my calls. You can build in those elements, but in a way that suits you. Remember, we are in business. We are, even if you work for someone else, you have some flexibility around your schedule outside of that workplace. So I've also been playing with having off time on this little square thing here on this phone, by using like a freedom app where you're actually down and you can't access anything in between time. And the thing is, guys, it helps your clients as well, because if you know that, you are focusing on them in that particular part of time and you are focusing on their work in that part of time, then you have space for them to be fully present, and you also have space for your work where you can show up and be completely tuned in and completely on the ball, and it really helps your genius to fly. Yes, as long as you do your yoga, that is all that matters. It still happened. I just didn't look so glam. So here's the thing. When you create what might feel like more space than you need. So as I said, my 45 minutes in the morning, then an hour for lunch. And I don't often have, sort of full work days. I only have, sort of 2 work days in the week where I have until 5 o'clock. So I'm working until 3 most days because I have my children. I have, one evening in the week where I'm, sort of working with my mini mastermind group, and that's in the evening. So it's about building in something that works really well for you. But that downtime is essential because your brain can then process the ideas, that you're having. You then have space to switch between modes and to switch between tasks. And it can feel really overwhelming if you're just sort of jumping from one thing to the next and you haven't had time to process and you haven't had time to unpack what it is you're doing. And another super important thing that I've started doing is to record every day what was a small win. It doesn't matter how big or small it was. So whether it was that I did take that sort of 45 minutes for my self-care, that I did manage to stay focused on tasks. Perhaps I had some great news about a piece of PR which happened twice last week, which was amazing. Or perhaps I've had a new client inquiry, or a new like a new connection with someone, or like a new idea which I know is going to be great. Recording those things and recording when you've added value to clients, when you've added value to yourself and to your own business is so empowering, because then when I've built in the time at the end of the week to have a kind of weekly review and to see what it is that that I've accomplished in that week, you can actually really see and feel much more empowered. And the other thing that I've done, like a lot of you guys know that I often have a spa day to have some time away from the screen. And to kind of, be planning, thinking in a different environment, which is so important as well for your genius, is to build in the last Friday of every month is now officially a spa day, as opposed to thinking, yes, I should really book one this month. Oh, look, I haven't, I've booked in something else. So that is now like my end of the month kind of, let's close the business down for the month. Not close it down, but let's review, let's look at what happened, and let's probably do that from somewhere nice like a spa. So that's what I have built in. And then there's other kind of self-care things in the month as well, like a monthly massage, and there's weekly stuff which occurs like my exercise, and also social time. It's okay to have a lunch break and see people and to be offline. Like it turns out that life does appear outside of this amazing screen here. I know, who knew, right? So Sarah, I love your comment. You look like an elephant on a podium when you do yoga. Dude, so do I. High five that. I'm all about the elephant on the podium thing. One of my clients is an amazing yoga instructor, and she's so strong, just looks so beautiful, and it's so not how I look, but I'm embracing that. Sarah, you need some more downtime. I would totally encourage that, and actually it's more productive than you realise. So I would really encourage you to just kind of find when you can have where you can have some downtime. Lunchtime's a good one, yes, just try and sort of, but actually allowing yourself that permission to eat and digest your food is actually quite a gift, to yourself. So whether you are sketching something out in your planner or on a big sort of whiteboard, I have a big whiteboard over there on that wall, or you're working in Google Calendar or whatever it is, I would just urge you to look at redesigning your week. And the schedule that I've currently planned, it might change, who knows, it might be something that I can experiment with, and perhaps it turns out that I need more chunks of certain activity than others, and so I can come back and rearrange that. But having that power, that re-empowerment, it's almost like a reminder that you're in charge of your time and your day and your business. And of course we know that on one level, but to come back and actually say, no, this is how I'm going to work, and to then review it occasionally, and in fact sort of regularly, and see what's working and what's not, gives that sense of empowerment back so much. But I felt really overwhelmed from the 1st of January when everyone was talking about planners and everyone was talking about schedules, and when I saw some of the schedules, they looked so overwhelming to me. But that's because that's not the schedule that I work to. I love Gary Vee, but I'm not Gary Vee. I'm not going to work to that sort of kind of hustle schedule. I can't. It's not how I work. It's not how my health would support it. It's not how my family needs it, all that kind of thing. So from Gary Vee to the more kind of chilled out guys who only work a couple of hours a day, everyone has their own needs, their own bespoke set of circumstances, their own way that they need to handle their weeks and their days. Because how you handle your weeks and your days and your moments and your hours is how you live your life. So I would encourage you just to have a little look at what you are doing with the schedule, and or you can call it something else if schedule feels too, I don't know, if schedule feels too formal and too planned and all that sort of stuff. If you want to design your weeks in a way that feel really awesome, I would love to see how you do that, and I will post my schedule below as well. Like, I would love to see if you're sketching something out, if you are working in your bullet journal or doing an amazing planner, or whether you've done it in Trello, or whether you've done it in Google Calendar like I have, or whether you've done it in the medium of dance. I don't know. I'd just love to see what you're doing and what you're thinking of, and how you can allow some more space for your genius, for your brilliance, which is what's gonna make you feel really empowered and super happy in your day. Okay guys, it's lovely to see you on here, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.